University Teknologi Petronas baru renew MOU with UIR, I guess last month. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think UIR is the best place. Sebab bila kita ada MOU, so proses will be smoothen, senang. Dah ada persefahaman yang kita panggil. Saya sangat berterima kasih lah dekat UIR, I would say, because they really give very good, kita panggil sangat bagus kerjasama. They give us the facilities. In fact, they bagi idea together with UTP student on how to execute this program. This is not the first and the last activities, right, with UIR. So in future kita nak elaborate further, nak extend further the collaboration dengan UIR.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kembali lagi di UIR News, ruang akademisi mendedah informasi. Kali ini kita kedatangan tamu dari University Teknologi Petronas. Pak siapa? Silakan
Faisal,
Pak.
nama saya Faisal. Lecturer pada University Teknologi Petronas. Kami membawa 28 students daripada University Teknologi Petronas, together with my colleague, which is Dr. Hairul, right?
Okay.
So these 20 students of Petronas coming from various program. So kita ada daripada applied chemistry, majority coming from applied chemistry students, and then we have one from chemical engineering student, and then we have 3 from petroleum engineering. Whereby dekat sini diorang panggil orang minyak. That's what I heard. Petroleum engineering. Then beside this student, untuk kita panggil, I can elaborate further, MP4 punya program, kita ada 5 student untuk summer program. So summer program is an exchange student, and then the MP4 students is part of the course that students have to take. So what we did, right, what we are doing right now, kita combinekan the activities of MP4 dengan summer program. So summer program and MP4 activity, they will do the same activity.
Okay.
Right.
Alright.
I guess I can explain sikit pasal this course. Is it okay?
Okay, I think we can move on to our questions.
Right.
Jadi itu tadi tamu kita, sedikit profil tentang tamu kita, Sir atau Pak Faisal Toha dari UTP Malaysia, dan kita akan membahas tentang kegiatan mereka yang ada di UIR pada 1 atau 2 minggu ke belakang. Baik Pak, perhaps you can start. Do you prefer to speak in English or Malay or a bit of both?
I can mix, no problem. Sure. English and Malay, right? No problem. All right. Shall I talk about this course?
Yep, you can go ahead. You can start.
Okay. How it started, this course, and how basically myself and my colleague involved with this activity. So dekat University Teknologi Petronas, there is one course. Kita panggil MPU4 course. That course is a requirement from the government.
Okay.
Sama ada you daripada private university, right? Before forget, University Teknologi Petronas is private university.
Yeah.
Or whether you're from government university, all students must take this course. Mm-hmm. If you do not take this course, then you cannot graduate. The requirement. So we call that as national requirement course. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the nature of this course is basically students have to do CSR activity, right? And then they must do this in group. It's not individual punya program. It's in group. So the number must be in between 15 to 20. So what happened? The student come and approach me, right? They say that, diorang selalu panggil saya Sir Faisal dekat UTP. So Faisal, boleh tak jadi kami punya supervisor untuk this MPU4, together with Dr. Hairul, my colleague. Okay.
I assume that you are one of the favorite supervisors in university.
And then they say, boleh tak Sir Faisal? Tolonglah Sir Faisal, please lah. So, you know that it's not just me. It may sound cliche, but it's not just me. Many lecturers are very busy. But since kita nak support student kan,
Of course.
so when they ask us, so I say yes. We give time. We have spent time with the student. So this MP4 course basically run by the student. So supervisor macam I, Dr. Hairul, just advise them to ensure that they're on the track when they want to execute these activities. And then they say that, they ask me, so Faisal, kami nak buat overseas lah.
Okay.
Because MP4 you ada option. Sama ada you nak execute you punya CSR activity locally or internationally.
Yeah.
And then they said, so Faisal, kita nak pergi overseas.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, I dengan Dr. Harul discuss. Let us think about the right place for you guys to do this. So since kita baru renew, University Teknologi Petronas baru renew MOU with UIR, I guess last month. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think UIR is the best place. Sebab bila kita ada MOU, so proses will be smoothen, senang. Dah ada persefahaman yang kita panggil antara UTP dengan UIR. And then in fact, bila kita buat this activity, dia macam I would say to fulfill the collaboration. One of it lah. Antara UIR and UTP through MOU. So bila kita buat MOU, kita tak nak lah buat MOU then senyap, tak ada aktiviti. You get me or not? So we want to have the activities since we have MOU. So then from there, students start the activity to raise the fund. They have to raise the fund.
Right.
For this activity. Of course, UTP akan bagi certain money, but it's not adequate.
Yeah.
So student have to raise the fund. Dia orang buat activity, jual baju lah, car wash lah,
Wow,
to get certain money.
It's very keen of them.
Yes, but dorang passionate, dorang suka.
Yeah, okay.
Alright. So I always advise the student, whatever you do, it won't affect your study. Right. That's very important. Kita tak nak you focus to one course. You spend a lot of time, for instance, for MP4, but you cannot perform for other courses. That's my concern.
Yeah.
So I always advise the student that way. So then they have to go for, they have to defend their proposal.
Okay.
There is a committee akan evaluate diorang sama ada you boleh pergi ke tak. First is the nature of the activities. Another one is money. Right? No money, no talk lah. Okay.
Of course.
So
aspects of life.
Yes, you must have money. That's very important. There's two criteria that the committee really look at in order to approve the proposal. Then when the project manager, my student, her name is Alia, presented the proposal, kita panggil sebagai proposal event lah. So the committee bagi approval. Then straight away contact MOU with UIR. We have online meeting, that sort of thing. Then saya sangat berterima kasih lah dekat UIR, I would say, because they really give very good, kita panggil sangat bagus kerjasama. They give us the facilities. In fact, they bagi idea together with UTP student on how to execute this program.
Yeah.
In fact, saya sangat-sangat berterima kasih. Diorang bagi asrama
pleasure,
putri
yeah.
free, you got me not? And then all the accommodation, that sort of thing lah. That's actually how it started. Okay. Yang saya nak stress ni, dia sangat important. Saya nak stress tentang objective of these MP4 courses.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The objectives basically, they must the nature of this course must be CSR. So dorang ada different pillar Pak Akbar untuk pilih. So dorang pilih education pillar. So that's why kalau kita tengok activity student ke sini together with UIR student, their activity basically must reflect education pillar. So to fulfill the criteria under education pillar, so that's why my student MP4 group have come up with the activities we call chemistry explorers STEM activities, which is fall under category of pillar education, right? And then, of course, they have the site visit. So through these activities, the main objective basically to create awareness the importance of chemistry in our daily life. Our target is young generation.
Okay.
So that's why our activities mainly involve kita panggil anak-anak ke dekat sini?
Ya, anak-anak.
Anak-anak daripada secondary school, SMA lah kat sini. SMP. Seolah menengah pertama, menengah atas. And then kita pergi dekat kampung Pulau Gadung. Am I right? Pulau Gadung, right? Pulau Gadung. Dekat situ kita buat CSR activities. It's involve penduduk kampung, but our target is primary school.
Okay.
Yang berumur 12 tahun dan ke bawah.
I see.
Right? So that is the main objective. Because I tak tahu dekat Indonesia. Dekat Malaysia ni, number of student yang apply untuk undergraduate for the course related to science drop.
I see.
It's drop. That is a concern. So when we study back, we found that ramai student bila diorang dekat secondary school, diorang tak banyak ambil science punya courses. Sebab diorang ada option pak. Bila dia masuk dekat secondary school, dia nak ambil subjek apa. Alright. So we thought that maybe kekurangan awareness among the young students kan. So kita kata, why don't you start early? Dia mungkin membutuhkan, am I correct? Membutuhkan masa yang lama untuk nampak kesannya. At least we start from the young generation. So that's why dalam aktiviti ni ada some sort like science talk before we start. For instance, untuk chemistry explorers. So chemistry explorers kita panggil dengan kerjasama mahasiswa-mahasiswi UIR. Kita panggil about 40 or 60 student daripada secondary school, sekolah menengah atas ya? Atas. Datang ke UIR. And then kita ada bagi chemistry explorers experiment. So before kita buat tu, kita ada bagi talk about the experiment. So the importance of the experiment, how basically this experiment maybe student tak realise is relate to our daily life. Benda macam tu lah. And then kita of course to encourage the student, kita bagi prizes lah.
Of course.
Alright. So we have it one day, that activities. And then the second one the main activities of this CSR, kita pergi kat Pulau Gadung. And then kita approach primary school. Alright. Kita buat STEM activities, which related to SSR lah. STEM basically stand for science, technology, engineering and maths. And of course, bila kita come up dengan that activity, the level is for the primary school lah. Alright. We have good feedback. Not just from the students, but also from the cikgu-cikgu. Kita panggil cikgu-cikgu ke? Cikgu. Guru. Okay, kita panggil guru.
We have the people from in Riau, especially, we also talk in Malay, and I believe most of us also understand what cikgu is.
Yes. So kita dapat good feedback. In fact, diorang kata tak pernah ada lagi aktiviti ni kat sekolah. In fact, they requested to have kita punya modul of STEM. So I guess in future diorang nak implement code, since kita we have no problem to give the module, that sort of thing lah. That's one thing to create the awareness lah. Lagi satu Pak Akbar, the second objective is to develop student punya soft skill, interpersonal skill, how they communicate with the people, right? Because kita ada different type of people, we must have the right skill to approach them, so that they can accept us, our ideas, that sort of thing easily. Okay, so for instance, I tengok soft skill between student and student. We are from different countries. of course, there is a bit different in terms of the culture.
Yeah.
This sort of thing. So this is how you approach each other, because they have to work together to execute the activities.
Yes.
So they must have sort of the right communication skills so that each other understand each other. That's very important. Otherwise macam mana kan kita nak ni.
Yeah, of course. That's why the diversity is very encouraged, because that's going to promote better communication skill.
Yeah. And then they have to adapt the culture here. Right? That's one of the way that we can get close to the community here.
Yeah.
For instance, saya ada student yang tak pakai tudung.
Yeah.
Tak pakai. Kita panggil sini apa? Hijab
Hijab. Tudung pun
boleh.
kita orang
sini
faham.
Pun biasa juga.
Yeah.
Then when we inform them, okay, dekat UIR ada certain places you kena pakai tudung sebab kita ada non-Muslim juga.
Okay.
They don't mind pakai tudung. They can adapt with the culture.
Yeah.
Right. So another one, they must know how to communicate with the lecturer here. Skill is different. Can you imagine they must have different skill bila dorang approach secondary school untuk chemistry explorers. Sebab kita nak encourage dia. We cannot be too serious, that sort of thing. So they must have that skill to attract the student in easy way, I would say.
Yeah.
Right, that's way. So they have to develop that skill. And then bila kita pergi dekat Kampung Gadong, kita kena pandai develop the skill to communicate dengan orang kampung. Kami ditempatkan di rumah-rumah. Kami tidur di rumah orang kampung di Pulau Gadong.
Okay.
So kami ada family dekat rumah tu. So we must not be able to communicate with them, adapt with the culture. So this is one of the ways basically to improve the soft skill. I rasa benda-benda soft skill ni you tak dapat belajar dekat university through the courses.
Tak ada textbook
tak ada textbook, tak ada teorinya, bla bla. So it's all through this kind of activities.
Yeah. Agree.
And then bila kita pergi dekat sekolah, okay, my students, especially from UTP, even though it's hard, because they're passionate, they have good empathy, so they try their best to approach the student, to attract, because they were very quiet, the student. Primary school, you tahu lah kan, a bit shy, that sort of thing. So we have to attract them, make the activities enjoyable, that sort of thing. So at the end, it seems that students enjoy. Kita boleh nampak at the beginning of the activities, they are very quiet. So towards the pertengahan aktiviti tu dah nampak dia boleh bercakap, boleh ni apa, buat joke dengan facilitator, that sort of thing. You got me or not?
Yeah.
So we would like to thank UIR punya student lah. Sebab diorang banyak tolong kita. So of course lah bila student kita terang or explain about the ni, diorang tak faham. So that's why for each activity kita ada UIR student. Alright, benda macam tu lah. So is will develop. They can use this skill when they graduate, when they work outside. Okay, they have that kind of skill. That is the second main objective of this. First one, kita nak create awareness. Kita nak ada scientists from our own country lah, Pak Akbar.
Of course, yeah.
Takkanlah kita nak ambil student orang pada luar untuk develop kita punya country, kan? We want to have that. Maybe it butuh masa yang lama, but we have to start. Of course, kita punya target, of course, young generation, kan? Second one, to develop the soft skill. The third one, I guess, is so important. Our objective is to develop the leadership among the student. Right? As I said before this, program ni student yang buat. So semua student buat. I would say this is student program. Kita tak ada buat apa. Bukanlah tak ada buat apa. Advisor just advise them, as I said before this, to make sure that they are on the right track. And then they can execute this course, this program successfully. That's important. So one of that, going through this, they can develop the leadership. Right? How to communicate, how to control, to ensure that everybody on the right track. So Pak Akbar, there is main 3 objectives. Towards the end of this activity, I would say, because hari ni kita punya farewell party, right? So we have been here for about 2 weeks. I can see that kind of criteria among the student coming from both university, UIR and UTP.
Yeah.
Ada satu tu kan, kita terpaksa tukar plan in last minute. Things won't go as what we plan. I think it's common. If you work outside pun macam tu.
Yeah.
Kan, things won't go as what we plan.
Yeah. So especially if we not familiar with the situation.
Yes. So the one that made me quite impressed when there is a change. Bayangkan kita dapat the latest information malam. The next morning kita nak execute the activities.
Yeah.
So the thing that made me quite impressed, the students from both university, malam tu juga they discuss together. They come up with a new plan. They come up with the new time frame for the activities, and it's work. The next day they execute. That is quite impressive. I rasa, oh, my student not bad. They can do that. That's all the things that very useful for them when they work outside. Okay.
Right.
So I'm very impressed with that kind of fast action that they have to take. And then I nak ambil kesempatan lah, I nak acknowledge lah. I really nak acknowledge UIR for all the facilities that they give. But most importantly, I would like to acknowledge the students themselves. So they really, I would say that they're really passionate. They really have the empathy. You just imagine, you nak deal dengan primary school especially. You kena ada good passion, good empathy in order for you to attract the interest of the student to execute the activities, right? That I really appreciate the student lah, for their passion, their empathy, their I would say dorang punya kesungguhan untuk menjadikan this activity success
and make the most out of it.
Yes, one point I want to highlight here is that this is not the first and the last activities, right, with UIR. All the activities between the student of UIR and UTP. It's just a starting point.
Yep.
Right. So in future kita nak elaborate further, nak extend further the collaboration dengan UIR. It just not involve these activities. So we may involve in term of teaching. Kita boleh ada online teaching with the UIR student. Kita boleh ada collaboration in term of research. This sort of thing. So I hope in future it's gonna be more activities for the collaboration between UIR, begitu juga dengan between UTP and UIR. It's not just involve the student. Kita boleh ada activity involve
among the lecturers.
So, that's what I would say. I would say towards the end of these activities, student for both university really did good job. Alright, they are very passionate. Kadang-kadang you can see diorang berpeluh-peluh.
Especially with the weather was quite bad in the last 2 weeks.
Diorang berpeluh-peluh and kadang kena rush. I was informed by one of the student when they change the plan, they have to come up with new material. And then UIR students, they are kind enough, bawa motor 8 biji motor. And then bawa student kita pergi beli barang untuk raw material, especially yang dekat Pulau Gadong tu.
Oh, okay.
I do not know that. My student bagi tahu, sir, kami naik motor. I think I really appreciate the assistance given by UIR students. So this kind of what we call soft skill amongst that kita nak
teamwork, leadership.
Teamwork, yes, that's very important, teamwork.
Ini pun tak hanya untuk student UTP lah. Saya rasa untuk student kita pun dari UIR atau as you say, it's also benefitable for the activities.
In fact, masa I tengah breakfast dengan my colleague Dr. Hairul, Dr. Hairul was suggesting that, Faisal, why don't kita invite your student coming to UTP? Okay. Alright, we can have more or less the same activities, right? But we want them to experience culture in Malaysia lah. right? Particularly culture dekat UTP, the villages of the people around the UTP, the kampung-kampung. So we can arrange that.
Yeah.
So really hope that in future, it may not be that soon, of course, right? But there is the visit. We would love to have your art student to visit UTP.
Ya, saya pun nak tanya itu juga tuh.
And experience culture dekat UTP. Kita memang serumpun, tapi ada a bit difference in terms of the culture. Right?
Apalagi saya tadi I was very amazed by the 3 points or 3 goals that you are aiming in this program. Perhaps on the first goal, creating the awareness for the STEM program is quite different because we are not a technology-focused university. But for the other 2, leadership and communication skill, and I think we can add some more other points like teamwork and cultural learning, the cultural diversity. Ya, saya rasa 3 atau beberapa aspek itu bolehlah kita lakukan kerjasama ini untuk meningkatkan hal-hal itu, Pak. Karena ya hal-hal itu tak bolehlah kita cari dalam textbook manapun, tak ada teori manapun, dan memang harus kena praktis.
Saya ajar organic chemistry, I tak ajar pun communication skill. When I teach organic chemistry, it's all about chemistry. So they only can have it through these activities.
The thing is, when we are teaching them about the skills or the knowledge about the, especially in the STEM fields, they can right away find it on the internet, and they can learn it from themselves. Especially the students in this generation, they have this intention to learn everything from themselves. But for this kind of activity, it has to be more on the involving the other lecturers and other students, and with this kind of activity, so they will be able to develop these soft skills, right?
Right.
And I think unfortunately we are limited by our time in here. So kita kena end up the session. So I think you can wrap up what you can say in this podcast.
Right. First of all, terima kasih jemput saya untuk podcast. Right.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah. To be honest, the first time I done podcast.
You're doing so well for the first time.
What I would say, as I said before this as well, the facilities given by UIR, kami sangat-sangat menghargai. Right. In fact, through this podcast, we will tell other people about what kind of the activities, kerjasama yang kita boleh offer between UIR and UTP. In fact, I guess bila kita ada podcast itu macam selling point untuk not just UTP but UIR to attract new student to join UIR. So I guess this podcast is very, very useful to promote both universities, University Teknologi Petronas, as well as UIR, I would say. That's all for me.
Okay.
And thank you very much, Pak Umar, menjemput saya untuk podcast in my first experience.
Thank you very much. You're doing better than I.
Terima kasih banyak-banyak.
Baik, teman-teman semua, itu tadi sesi diskusi kita dengan Pak Faisal Taha dari Universitas Teknologi Petronas Malaysia. Semoga kita semua bisa mendapat pelajaran dan mengambil hikmah dari kegiatan yang telah mereka lakukan dan juga dari sesi ini. Baik, saya pun undur diri juga dari sesi ini. Terima kasih semua atas perhatiannya, dan mungkin kita akan bertemu lagi di sesi berikutnya di UIR News, Ruang Akademisi Mendedah Informasi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.